Hey everybody, this is Steven with Tiny Orange TV. You can find me streaming on twitch.tv/tinyorangetv, or you can follow me on all social media platforms. I usually will post when I'm going live on stream, and you can become part of the channel that way. This is the third video of my kind of beginner's craps tutorial for the Four Kings Casino game on Steam. I've already covered, in the first video we went over the field bet and some dice probability basics and why this bet is not as good as it looks. And in the second video we discussed the pass line and the basics of the pass line bet. In this third installment of these videos I'm gonna go over the don't pass line, or the don't pass bar 12 if you read it straight across. So the don't pass is the opposite of the pass line. It's essentially it's basically the opposite. So if you watched the previous video, or if you're already familiar with the pass line on the come out roll, which once again was when this button is off, you are in a come out roll. Pass line is a winner when 7 and 11 is rolled, and it is a loser when 2, 3, and 12 is rolled. Any other number, which are these 6, becomes your point number. Vice versa, the don't pass is the opposite. So if you bet on the don't pass, you are betting opposite the pass. So here, 7 and 11 on the come out roll is bad. You're going to lose this bet. Where on the flip side of that, you're going to win when a 2, 3, or technically when a 2, 3, 12 is rolled, this bet wins. But it's barring the 12 here. So some layouts will say bar 2, because 2 and 12 are the same. If we looked at the dice probabilities once again, 2 and 12, this has got some little marks on it from previously, but the 2 and the 12 are basically the same as far as probability is concerned. You've only got one way to roll either of them. So sometimes you'll see in a craps game it'll say, don't pass bar 2, which it's the same. It's the same thing. So here a 2 and a 3 in as far as Four Kings craps is concerned, 2 and a 3 on the don't pass is going to win. 7 and 11 is going to lose, and if a 12 rolls and you bet on the don't pass, it's just going to be a push, or you're going to get your bet back. You're not going to lose your money. You're not going to win any money. And if a 12 rolls on the come out, there's no point established, so it's just going to be another come out roll. So we'll go back to the live version of craps that I've been playing to demonstrate some of this stuff. So we will bet not one. Let's do our Hunsky here. So let's bet the don't pass here. We'll play 100 just like we were for the pass line in previous video. Okay, so we've rolled a 10. We didn't roll a 2 or a 3, so we didn't win 100. We didn't roll a 7 or 11, so we didn't lose the 100. And we didn't roll a 12, which would have pushed our 100 back to us essentially. We've rolled one of the point numbers, which is a 10. So now, if we were on the pass line, we would want a 10 to come before a 7. But since we're on the don't pass, we want the opposite. We want a 7 to come before the 10. So now you can kind of see how the opposites work here. So on the pass line, on that come out roll, 7 is very likely. So it's a good bet on the come out roll. Like, you're more likely to hit that 7 and win your $100 immediately just like that in one roll. But once you get past the come out roll and you get a point number, especially if we had just rolled a 10, it's very unlikely for us to hit this 10 now before we hit the 7. That's just the odds of it, right? So on the other side of that, the don't pass, now we're looking great because the 10 is very unlikely, which is good because we want to hit our 7 before we hit our 10. So if we look at this, I mean, we've got orange is good. We want to hit 7. We've got 6 combinations to do that. The only way we can lose our $100 bet now is to roll a 10, when there's only 3 combinations that will get you a 10. So right now our bet is looking pretty good for the don't pass, but let's go ahead and keep rolling until we resolve this. So that's an 8. That's irrelevant. All these... Okay, so we hit a 10. So we lost. So the don't pass lost there. That's what happens in craps. You're not going to win every time. The probabilities are not always going to mean you win your money. That's just dice. So we can try it again. We'll do don't pass again. So now we've got a 6. So going back to our odds, we thought we had good odds. I mean, we did have good odds. As far as this is concerned, to hit a 7 before a 10. But now our point is a 6. So now we don't want a 6. Oh, I'm sorry, that's an 8. It was a 6, right? Or was it an 8? I don't remember. 6, yes. Okay. I'll figure this out, guys, I promise. Alright, so we don't want a 6. Since we are playing the don't. We want a 7. So we're playing the opposite of anybody playing the pass line right now. So we're kind of betting against the shooter. The don't pass is also known as playing the dark side, because you're kind of going against the table. If a lot of people are crowded around craps tables, which is usually what happens, it's a very social game in a casino. It doesn't happen a lot in Four Kings because a lot of people don't know how to play craps, I feel, which is kind of why I'm trying to make these videos, to get people a little more acclimated to the game. But in a casino, a lot of people will be standing around craps. Everybody would have money on the pass line, or, you know, that's typically how a lot of people bet. And, you know, when people start making their points, everybody's winning money all at the same time. So if a guy walks up and puts money on the don't pass, he's betting against everybody, basically. So if a 7 rolls right now, this don't pass guy, who's a real jerk, just walked up and bet against the entire table, and he's gonna win money while everybody else is losing. So that is why it is known as playing the dark side or whatever. So there we go, we just won. So the odds were in our favor there. We were more likely to hit our 7 than the dice were, you know, gonna land on 6. That's just how the odds work out. So there we go. There's a different one. So we had a come out roll here. The thing was off. I put 100 on the don't pass, and we rolled an 11. So we lost. We lost our don't pass. So that's how you could lose on the come out. And once again, 2 and 3 would win you this bet. Otherwise, it's going to go to a point. The point is 6. So we want a 7 now. And we don't want a 6. All these other rolls are irrelevant. And there's our 7. So statistically speaking, or like in terms of probability, the don't pass is the best bet on the craps table as far as like odds and house edge and all of that. The pass line is, I think, the next best bet. It's only slightly worse, and you might be thinking, well, these are complete opposites. How come one of them is more likely than the other? It's because you need to. It's all about the on-off button. So on the come-out roll, 7, if you hit a 7, you're good. But, so I actually just did there. So if you can, like I said in the previous video, there I'm hitting 11 too. This game is super generous. We need to, they need to implement this one in new Four Kings. But if you can stand here and bet pass line and roll nothing but 7s and 11s all day, you're good to go. You're probably not going to do that on the don't pass because the only way you're going to win here is 2 and 3, which are super unlikely compared to 7 and 11. But once you get past the come out, now the odds flip greatly in favor of the don't pass bet here, because I'm more likely to roll the 7 every roll, more so than the point number now, which is 4, and that talks about the gambler's fallacy, which we I went over in the very first video. You know, every single roll is independent of every other roll. So every time you roll the dice, the 7 is the likeliest number. It doesn't matter what happened with the roll before. You could roll 7 6 times in a row. The likelihood that you're going to roll 7 again is just as likely. That's odds. So that's how the odds switch over. So here it's good on one roll, but if you miss that 7 on that first roll, now the odds of hitting a 7 on the next roll is in the don't pass favor, and every roll from there on out. So we got 4 as our point here, which is, like I've pointed out before, the worst point you can have. 4 and 10 are the least likely numbers to be rolled as far as points are concerned. So I need to hit, since I bet the pass here, I need to hit a 4 before I hit a 7. So the odds are not looking good, and there it goes. There's our 7. We 7'd out before we hit our point. The button goes to off, and now we start a new round of rolling. If you're playing with more than one person at the table, that's when you would pass the dice. So if you're confused on when the dice are being passed, it's when somebody 7's out. That's pretty much it. If you were to hit your point, let's... I'll just keep hitting 7 when I bet pass line. This is great. This is really great. This is like an ATM machine right now for me, but the only way dice are passed is if somebody 7's out when they have a point established. So you could stand here, like, I would be rolling on come out roll all day right now because I would not pass the dice here. Look at this. What is that, 3 in a row? People would love me at the table right now, but I would be making so much money for everybody. So now I'm going to roll. I'm still rolling. I'm still the shooter. I won a 5. There I go. I hit my 5. So I still wouldn't pass the dice because I hit my point. Not that this is relevant to a version online because it's going to pass the dice for you, but I just want you to understand that the only way you pass the dice as the shooter is if you lose your point bet, basically. You lose the round that you're rolling for. And you lose by 7ing out when the point is established. So, hopefully that explains the don't pass bet in the Four Kings Casino pretty well for you. So we've discussed the field bet, the pass line bet, and the don't pass. The next video, I guess I could explain the come and the don't come. They're actually pretty similar to those, so that might not be too difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and do those in the next videos, so stay tuned for those if you want to know how the come and the don't come work. Otherwise, find me in the game, Tiny Orange TV. I'll be on Steam in the Four Kings Casino. I'm in there all the time, acting a fool, losing all my money. Follow me on Twitch. You can see me live streaming there, and follow me on social media so you can know when I'm going live. And I will see you guys next time.